This is the Kershaw Launch 17 in Damascus with custom inlays of aluminum carbon fiber from Chad Boss on Facebook, and a titanium lynch clip. This is the only automatic I currently have in my collection, but I've had ProTech and Microtech out the side autos before. But this one holds up to the others, ProTech and Microtech, even though those are in a higher price bracket. And here I have the Damascus. I believe, from what I've heard, Kershaw is using Alabama Damascus, and which is a carbon-based Damascus, I believe. But I've been cutting with this a lot, carrying it a lot recently, and it's been performing really well overall. Haven't noticed any edge retention loss at all. You can see there might be a little inconsistency on that grind there. Slight imperfection maybe on that sharpening job. Maybe a little thinner secondary bevel right here. But overall, it's a great knife. I love it. It's the only launch I've had, but very impressed overall. One of the most impressive parts about this auto compared to others is that there's no blade play. Like, really, zero. I think the Microtech auto I had was a SOCOM auto, had very minimal play. I think I had a Hawk from them, which I miss a lot. That was pretty solid. I think that was completely no blade play. I think the ProTechs I've had have had slight blade play. Yeah, this one fires just as hard as any ProTech. Maybe not quite as hard as the Microtech auto, but not far off. I love the jimping right here. You can see very functional, perfect spot for my hand. That jimping right there, it's perfect. The ergos are really good for an auto. The one thing is, it slightly favors the show side. Kind of bugs me a little bit. I think it was perfectly centered when I got it, but then I sent it off actually to have these inlays put in, and for whatever reason, it came back like this, and I haven't been able to adjust that out of it at all. It's very slightly off, you can tell. And you can see these are aluminum scales with the inlays in there. You can see the American flag. It's made in the USA, which is awesome. You can see aluminum scales. You can see that's real Damascus there. And it actually is a G10 backspacer. Kind of hard to focus on that, yeah. The G10 backspacer. But you can kind of tell a little too easily that that tip is slightly not in the center of the backspacer. But anyways, overall, it's still a great knife, and it's not going to leave my collection at the moment because I love these. The way these inlays look is just such a great visual. The way it melts with that blade. And one of my favorite part about these inlays is that the monochrome nature. Like, my entire collection is black, gray, and silver. But these are completely monochrome, whereas this blade almost has a bronze appearance until you put the inlays there, and then it brings out the gray tones, in my opinion. So it's really made it a keeper in my collection because I love that visual. I've told people it looks like something you'd find in some fantasy video game almost. It's so good. Yeah, but this is a great knife overall. You can feel the power just by the sound. No blade play. There's slight play in the closed position. I don't know if you can get that on video. Just slight. But overall, I've been really impressed with the Launch series, or the Launch 17, I should say. It's the only one I have. Let's do a watch check. This is the Citizen. Let me wipe it off here. Tsukiyomi. Let me get the good wipe on this. There we go. You can see it's the 21st, Saturday. And we're at about a 20% waning crescent. But I've just been loving this watch, the all titanium Tsukiyomi. Had to give it an appearance. Unfortunately, I missed the full moon. I wanted to do a video on the full moon, but didn't make it happen. Kind of messes with the light. But anyways, back to the knife. You almost have to have an auto in your collection just to check that box. So until I see an auto that I'd rather have than this one, this will be sticking around as my auto example, out the side auto. Let's compare it with the Microtech SOCOM Elite, the manual version. Not quite as big as the SOCOM Elite there. We'll compare it with my #1 knife of all time, the Riot Tiger. Woo! Forgot about that one. Haven't carried that in a while, and every time I flip it for the first time again, it's amazing. And let's do one more. Here's a sneak peek of one that's going to come on the channel soon. You guys will probably like this. Woo! Look at that. Freaking scythe. All DLC and titanium. Look at that, how it locks in. This is the Max Ace Hella, soon to be on the channel. Look at that. That's a sick one. That's a good comparison. That'll get a full video very soon. What else do we want to say about this knife? Show you the spring. That's how you kind of check an auto's power. And it has plenty of power on that spring. But the way these inlays play with the light is what does it for me. Look how the blade's peeking out with that design. And then with the inlays there. And Chad did a really good job getting these even. Can't stand when like an inlay's not evenly set, where it's a different height from the ridges. This one's really well done, as you can see. And then, yeah, this clip has helped a lot too, because the original clip was a little tighter. This one gets over my pockets. You can see some wear there. I've carried this a good bit. It's held up well, as you can tell. Love that USA flag right there. This one and the SOCOM are actually my only two USA made knives at the moment. Honestly, the value from China is just so crazy, it's hard to go wrong, but these are two really good examples of USA knives, production knives. But yeah, the couple upgrades I've done to this, originally it had G10 inlays, which are just like this black on the backspacer, but they were pretty boring. And one thing that drove me crazy was that it was not even right here. It was well done, but there was a slight little raised part. You could almost squish it down every now and then. But this is way better with these beautiful inlays. Anything else for this one? Let's see. It's safe back here. You can rub your finger all there. There's the stop pin. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. I will say I'm not the biggest fan of Kershaw's. One nitpick I have is their hardware. When I was trying to get this thing to perfect center again, their hardware kind of failed me a little bit on my tools. Are kind of stripped out on the body screws, I believe. But I got them really tight, so I'm not going to mess with it. But I don't think I'm going to be able to really take this apart again, unfortunately. You can see that centering is like really close, but it's just slightly off enough to kind of bug me. But overall, can't go wrong. Because I mean, I paid like $150 for this, whereas like a Microtech auto is like $300 or $400, and a ProTech auto is like $200 or $300 minimum. So the value you get from an American-made auto with this is amazing. Kershaw is really stepping up the game. Yeah, just look at those inlays. The visual is just stunning. I love that. But this has been the Kershaw Launch 17 in Alabama Damascus. This has been Slice Authority. Keep on staying tuned for more. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and keep on watching. Other videos should pop up right here after this one, right about now. So go enjoy those. Lots more to come. Thanks for watching.